A very good evening and welcome to Prime Time News on TV1 for the Newsfirst team. I'm Dutini De Silva. Let's start off with a look at the headlines. Operation Yuktia temporarily scaled back in line with the festive season. 13,666 suspects arrested within 7 days. Police seized stock of narcotics including ice, marijuana and heroin.
STF එක වැඩේට බහලා ඉන්නේ පොලිසිය වැඩේට බහලා ඉන්නේ නොබාසින කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා නම් ඒ අය බස් වල හැටියට දන්නවා නොබැස්සොත් ඒකට ගන්න පියවර තමයි.
New anti-narcotic command to combat drug-related crimes. 8 more inmates of the Mathura prison hospitalized due to suspected brain fever. Total number of patients increased to 16. Former Health Minister Keheliya Rambukwalla cannot escape responsibility for the fake human immunoglobulin transaction, says trade unions. All Tamil parties should unite and field a candidate for the upcoming presidential election, says TNA MP Govindan Karunakaram. As the clock keeps ticking to strike midnight, the world awaits the dawn of Christmas that commemorates the birth of Jesus Christ. Catholics in Sri Lanka are gearing up to celebrate Christmas, joining millions across the globe in a season of joy and togetherness. It's Christmas Eve here in Sri Lanka, and we start off tonight's bulletin with a look at the festive spirit here at home and around the world. As Sri Lanka grapples with a crippling economic crisis, the Archdiocese of Colombo called for a Christmas of compassion and solidarity.
කතෝලික ජනතාව විශේෂයෙන්ම අද දවසේ රාත්‍රියේ
The Catholic community in Sri Lanka will attend the Midnight Mass at 11:45 p.m. today. The Midnight Mass will be held in almost every church across the country. Christmas highlights a message from Jesus Christ to accept everyone with love. It's a timely topic for our country, especially in a period where our country is facing many economic challenges. His Eminence the Cardinal and the Catholic Fathers tell the people that it is important to share with each other during this Christmas. Wish you a Merry Christmas.
සුබ නත්තලක් වේවා කියලා ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා.
The Christmas Midnight Mass taking place at the St. Anthony's Church Wahakotte to commemorate the joyous celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ will be telecast live on Sirasa TV. Here's a look at the preparations ahead of the Mass.
The birth of Jesus, which took place 2023 years back, is once again reenacted this year. Commemorating the birth of Jesus, we shall have at the National Shrine of St. Anthony the carol singing starting at 10:30 p.m. followed by the midnight mass beginning at 11:45 p.m. and this mass would be presided over by the Bishop Emeritus Winston Fernando. Let us all join one another and share our sentiments of joy and happiness with one another so that we may be able to respond to God's call more positively.
Presidential pardon was granted to 1,004 inmates in line with Christmas. 162 inmates from the Pallekele Open Prison, 78 from the Anuradhapura Prison and 42 from the Walikada Prison were granted presidential pardons. These inmates who have been granted presidential pardons will be released tomorrow. Operation Yuktya has been scaled back in line with Christmas. Police spokesperson SSP Nihal Thalduwa said the police officers will be deployed for the security of Catholic churches. However, he said that raids based on tip-offs will be carried out. 1,534 suspects were arrested in the 24-hour window that ended at 12:30 a.m. today, raising the total number of arrests made in Operation Yuktya to 13,666. Detention orders were issued to 717 suspects. 174 suspects are being interrogated for the possession of illegal assets. 1,097 drug addicts have been directed to rehabilitation centres. The Kegol police conducted inspections on vehicles travelling via Kegol along the Colombo-Kandy main road this morning. SLTB buses were also inspected using police dogs. Two suspects were arrested along with 200 grams of heroin, 200 grams of ice and a stock of marijuana in Operation Yuktya carried out in Kotahena. Kalutara police arrested an assistant working at a pharmacy for selling drugs to students. The suspect is a 33-year-old resident of Wadduwa. Two suspects were arrested for engaging in hemp cultivation near the Uma Oya Reserve in Badulla. Acting Inspector General of Police Deshabandhu Thennakone said that Operation Yuktya is targeting large-scale drug traffickers as well. He made these comments during a program conducted yesterday. An awareness program for the police officers of the Mount Lavinia Police Division was held at the Diyagama Technical Institute. President Senior Advisor on National Security Sagala Ratnayaka, Minister of Public Security Tiran Alas, Acting IGP Deshabandhu Thennakone attended the program.
The police and the STF will not allow a single organised criminal to carry out criminal activity or drug rackets within Sri Lanka's maritime border or outside of it during this operation. Even if they coordinate criminal activity from outside of the country, we will take steps to extradite them to Sri Lanka with the support of the Interpol. 12,000 were arrested from across Sri Lanka this week week, while nearly 1,000 suspects are being held under the detention orders and interrogated. No one can say it doesn't disrupt the circulation of drugs within the country. Measures were taken to seize property worth 130 million in the southern province yesterday alone. We will continue this operation till we catch the big fish behind these rackets. 135 of the 1,091 underworld members coordinate crime within the prisons. They are now being held at the Busa prison with heightened security. 45 of them have been taken and they can't use mobile phones to coordinate crimes. We will move the rest as well. There are people who bring food and money to the underworld members in prison. Over the past few days, we found a mechanism to track the visitors as well. The police, STF and the police, including all OICs of the 607 police divisions, are involved in this operation. If someone refuses to be a part of the operation, we know how to convince them.
OIC මහතුරු වැඩේට බහැලා ඉන්නේ නොබාසින කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා නම් ඒ අය බස් වල හැටි අපි දන්නවා නොබැස්සොත් ඒකට ගන්න පියවරත් අපි දන්නවා
මේ මත්ද්‍රව්‍ය යුද්ධ එක යුද්ධයක්.
The war on drugs is one war. The President is constantly in contact with the Minister of Public Security with regard to the eradication of the drug menace. The President has thought of all aspects. The President is discussing with the Minister with regards to one more matter, which is the Anti-Narcotics Command. This command will be made with a collection of government units and presidents as the head to take relevant decisions. If not, you need the aid of the Justice Ministry to extradite criminals who have fled the country. This process is time-consuming. When all these government bodies unite, decisions can be taken in a more efficient and effective manner. I have asked for a statement from the Minister by the 1st of January and we hope to conclude discussions soon and implement the relevant measures.
ඉක්මනට ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න.
මේක දේශපාලඥයෙන් කියලා මේක මාධ්‍ය සංදර්ශනයක් ඕවා ඉස්සරත් තිබුණා.
Some call this a media frenzy and a repeat of the past. Those people have connections with drug dealers and the underworld. Now they have undertaken a contract to promote misinformation and discourage us in an effort to stop this operation. Some religious leaders, I don't want to name them, are doing the same. We will not stop until we have successfully concluded this operation, but we need all your support. Please provide us with any information you might have. Do not worry. I promise you that we will not reveal the names of our informants. By the 31st of June, we can expect a significant transformation in this country.
ජූනි 30 වෙනිදා වෙනකොට ලොකු වෙනසක් වෙන්න ඕනේ මේ රටේ.
In other local news, 8 more inmates of the Mathura prison have been hospitalized due to a condition presumed to be brain fever. This increases the total number of inmates hospitalized over the disease to 16. An inmate at the Mathura prison who was hospitalized due to a condition presumed to be brain fever had died. The deceased was among 3 inmates who were hospitalized at the Mathura base hospital due to the condition presumed to be brain fever or meningitis. Prisons Commissioner and spokesperson Gamini B. Disanayaka said the deceased was a 28-year-old resident of Akurasa and was receiving treatment at the ICU. He was remanded on the 30th of August this year over charges of murder. Disanayaka said that 8 inmates of the Mathura prison were hospitalized today, raising the total number of inmates hospitalized over the deceased to 16. 2 of them are currently receiving treatment at the ICU. The Department of Prisons said that steps have been taken to restrict activities at the Mathura prison. The Prisons Commissioner and spokesperson said that the decision was reached to minimize the spread of the disease. A decision has also been reached to send the new inmates directed to the Mathura prison to the Angunukola Palasa prison. Prison visits will also be conducted subject to health guidelines. In more local news, a circular has been issued by the President's Office regarding the prevention and control of dengue.
According to the circular, all institutes must contribute to prevent the spread of dengue against the backdrop of heavy rains and rise in dengue cases. Due to the possibility of dengue developing into an epidemic situation at present, special attention should be paid to prevent that situation. Heads of all institutes should commit to implement dengue prevention activities at the national, provincial, district, institutional and household levels with the support of health departments. Special attention must be drawn towards public and private institutions, construction sites, schools, religious places, areas related to religious activities and houses. 83,738 dengue cases were reported in Sri Lanka so far this year. 2,438 dengue cases were reported in the past week alone. The most affected is the Trincomalee district.
මේ වෙනකොටත් ලංකාවේ තියෙන සමස්ත සෞඛ්‍ය වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරී
20% of the country's MOH divisions have been identified as high-risk zones. This means that the majority of the population lives with the risk being infected with dengue. However, the people's priorities have changed. The standard of living has dropped. Cost of living has increased. They don't know if they can afford their next meal. As health officials, our advice is that you should be mindful of your surrounding.
මදුරුවන් බෝ වෙන ස්ථාන තියෙනවා නම් ඒවා ඉවත් කරලා කටයුතු කිරීම මේ මොහොතේ අත්‍යවශ්‍ය කාරණයක්.
The Medical and Civil Rights Professional Association says the former Minister of Health, Keheliya Rambukwala, cannot rid himself of the responsibility regarding the fake human immunoglobulin incident. A criminal investigation is underway regarding the purchase of a stock of fake human immunoglobulin vaccines, which is widely used for serious neuro patients, from a local company called Isoles Biotech Pharma, and a court case is ongoing. 6 people, including the former secretary to the Ministry of Health, Janaka Sri Chandragupta, are currently remanded in relation to this incident. Former Health Minister Keheliya Rambukwala recently refuted accusations levelled against him regarding the supply of the fake human immunoglobulin stock without proper approval.
If you filed a complaint with the CID on the 2nd of August, your Health Secretary Janaka Sri Chandragupta signed the invoice for the controversial medicine deal of 44 million on the 1st of September. So what Minister Keheliya Rambukwala said regarding this at the media briefing is untrue.
The Medical and Civil Rights Professionals Association said Minister Keheliya Rambukwala also presented the cabinet paper for the company in question to bring medicine under the Indian credit line.
මේ තමයි එම සේවරිත් කියන සමාගමට අදාළ ටෙන්ඩරේ ලබා දීම සඳහා කෙහෙලිය රඹුක්කල අමාත්‍යවරයා කැබිනට් මණ්ඩලයට යොමු කරන කැබිනට් පත්‍රිකාව.
This is the cabinet paper Minister Keheliya Rambukwala presented to the cabinet to hand the tender to the relevant company. It was presented on the 22nd of October with his signature. On the 30th of November last year, the director of the Medical Supplies Division, at the time Dr. S.A.T. Sudarshana, directed a letter to the executive director of the NMRA, Vijitha Gunasekara, requesting a certificate of waiver of registration for the relevant company to release 38 drugs. There is no legal or ethical right for Keheliya Rambukwala to remain in the cabinet after causing a loss of 1 billion to taxpayers and violating the constitution. We believe that there is sufficient evidence to arrest the former health minister, and the CID and Attorney General's department can seek legal advice in this regard when this case is taken up again.
අපරාධ පරීක්ෂණ දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවට සහ නීතිපති දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවට පුළුවන්.
We're tossing over to a commercial break. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Special photo here of probably 2 of the most famous cricketers ever in the world. Sir Donald Bradman, Sachin Tendulkar.
Everybody in India said, right, who's the greatest there's ever been? There's Bradman.
The hunger for runs, the hunger to bat on and on.
When you look at footage of Bradman, he looks more dynamic. When he cuts and when he pushes off for a run, he looks like a modern player.
I just love the way he batted and he just made runs for fun.
Brilliant effort by Sachin Tendulkar. That brings the crowd to their feet.
It felt like the country weighed on his shoulders every time he went out to bat.
They kept saying it and they kept their balance. They kept grounded through all that. Not an easy thing to do.
It just defies belief that you can keep it all together. And maybe their sanctuary was going out in the middle of the cricket ground.
Bradman and Tendulkar, a Christmas special, 25th December at 9:30 p.m. on TV1.
Inflation, exchange rates and the rise and fall of the stock market, bringing you insights into the business world. Watch the Business Buzz every Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. on TV1.
There are the issues of misgovernance, of systems of governance not quite working in the way that they're supposed to. And of course, the big issue of corruption.
We've survived crisis after crisis after crisis.
That vision of a collective effort of nation building is gone.
You are bound by other international agreements, international conventions, international traditions which you have to maintain.
They hoped that Gotabaya Rajapaksa would be the strong man who would, look after them and allow them to do whatever. But he proved both to be a coward and incompetent.
On the People's Platform, Monday to Friday at 8:30 p.m. on TV1.
Welcome back to the news. You're watching Primetime News on TV1. In more local news, according to the Constitution of Sri Lanka, 2024 is an election year. While the presidential election must be held in 2024, and if necessary, the parliamentary election can also take place at any given time. MP Govindan Karunakaran spoke about the upcoming election.
Presidential battle.
MP Govindan Karunakaran said that they will nominate a candidate for the upcoming presidential election. He made these comments during an event in Batiklo today.
The Tamil people should unite in the next presidential election. The people of the north and east should extend their support to someone familiar to them. In the current situation, a candidate from the south can obtain 50% votes. In such a situation, with the help of the international community, we can come to an agreement with the people who need the Tamil community's vote. We have focused our attention on that.
Inflation, exchange rates and the rise and fall of the stock market. Bringing you insights into the business world. Watch the Business Buzz every Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. on TV1.
There are the issues of misgovernance, of systems of governance not quite working in the way that they're supposed to. And of course, the big issue of corruption.
We've survived crisis after crisis after crisis.
That vision of a collective effort of nation building is gone.
You are bound by other international agreements, international conventions, international traditions which you have to maintain.
They hoped that Gotabaya Rajapaksa would be the strong man who would, look after them and allow them to do whatever. But he proved both to be a coward and incompetent.
On the People's Platform, Monday to Friday at 8:30 p.m. on TV1.
Over 60% of Sri Lankan families have faced a decline in their total income since March 2022. This is due to the decrease in working hours, customers coming to stores and sales, the loss of jobs, temporary suspension of employment contracts, and the increase in prices of animal feed, fuel and fertilizer. This was revealed in a survey conducted by the Department of Census and Statistics. The US said that a drone which hit an Israel-affiliated merchant vessel off the coast of Gujarat was fired from Iran. The US military said the chemical tanker was hit by a drone launched from Iran in the Indian Ocean. The motor vessel Kem Pluto, a Liberia-flagged Japanese-owned and Netherlands-operated chemical tanker, was struck in the Indian Ocean, 200 nautical miles from the coast of India. The Indian Navy is now investigating whether the drone used to attack the vessel was launched from long range or nearby vessel. The Indian Coast Guard said its ship Vikram is escorting the MV Kem Pluto and they are expected to reach Mumbai by tomorrow. There has recently been a series of drone and rocket attacks on ships in the Red Sea by Iran-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen. Coming back to local news, a ceremony was held today in Nuwara to mark the completion of 200th anniversary since Indians migrated to Sri Lanka for employment in the estate sector. The commemorative event was themed Irunuril Malayagam.
Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa attended this occasion organised by the Upcountry National Front Association. A statue commemorating this occasion was unveiled in the centre of the Nuwara town. Later, a cultural procession took place from the Sinisita Hall to the Nuwara town. This occasion also saw the participation of the Deputy High Commissioner of India to Sri Lanka, Dr. Satyanjal Pandey.
It has now been 200 years since our ancestors came to this land. The various sorrows and struggles faced by them for over a century has laid the foundation of our community's present and the future. The aim of this program is to showcase the journey of our community and its trails and triumphs. The estate workers have a portion from the income of the government employees, free education, free healthcare and all relief provided by the government. Therefore, the government of this country should give more importance to estate workers and our community.
A more comprehensive report on this story will be available on all our social media platforms very soon. And with that, we wrap up our prime time news on TV1. Have a pleasant evening and good night.